Hey guys, this is a SEGUE magic video. Some of you may have started watching these videos because of BookTube. I've mentioned a timer 100 that I blog over at SnarkSquad.com. SEGUE Magic is our Beyond the Blog video series. And it allows us to cover a range of topics that we don't have the space or reason to cover on the blog itself. And in celebration of Valentine's Day, we're going to be talking about our favorite and least favorite romantic fictional couples. I'm going to start with my least favorite couples because I feel it's not going to be a surprise to anyone. Number one is Christian Grey and Anastasia Steele. In addition to it being an abusive relationship, I also never got why they were a grand love story. They never talked about anything. It wasn't like their personalities matched in a way that you could really relate to. Most of the time that they were together, they were whispering, murmuring, treating each other in ways that made me want to puke. So really, I hate both of these characters separately, and together, it's a big bubbling fountain of hate. Next, we have Buffy and Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and that's Spike with and without a soul. And finally, we have Aria Montgomery and Ezra Fitz from Pretty Little Liars. He knew that she was younger. He took advantage of her. There's nothing okay about them being together, and I resent the show for trying to push them onto us like a core couple. That all out of the way, let's quickly get to my favorites. These are not ranked, but I kind of grouped them into subcategories because if you know anything about SEGUE magic, it's that we suck at ranking. First, I have Lois and Clark from Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman. I've also mentioned this show with timer 20. I'm not up to date at all on my Superman lore, so don't tell me if this show got it wrong. I probably did, maybe it did, I don't know. But it was one of the first couples that I can remember shipping hardcore. I really liked that it dealt with what it meant for a human to be dating a superhero and what it meant for a superhero to be dating a human. They didn't know if he would age differently. They didn't know if they could have kids because alien sex. He only heard cries for help when they were in the middle of a relationship chat. It was hard work. It was a tough one, but you know, I rooted for them. From Austin, I have Anne Eliot and Captain Wentworth and Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. People might have good reason to say that Lizzie and Mr. Darcy on the worst list because they were pretty awful to each other in the beginning, but that's like kind of the point. Also, sub-point, don't be a jerk. Life is easier for everyone when you're less of a jerk, Mr. Darcy. I like these two though because they both seem so snarky. Their banter is snappy and it seems like they're an intellectual match for each other. Plus, I like that it was an insta-love and it was hard-won and you saw the progression of their affection for each other throughout the story. I only picked up Persuasion in my later 20s, but my gosh, I love Anne Eliot. I feel like Anne Eliot is the protagonist for your late 20s. I love the entire concept that she let love go because of other obligations. Honorable mention, Jane and Rochester. It gets a little obsessive, especially on the part of Mr. Rochester, but you do understand that he's on the cusp of happiness that he's never been able to achieve before. So someone might say they're creepy, and I would say, you're right. Next, I have a few almost couples just because they are a little bit younger. So their relationships were definitely more than friendship and there was a love aspect to them, but also they were young, so it wasn't so blatant. First, Todd and Viola from the Chaos Walking trilogy. I freaking loved Todd and Viola. You really see the way that their love for each other really grows across the span of all three books and how it saves the day a lot of the times because they are so connected. I don't really have words to tell you how much I love these characters. Then we have Aang and Katara from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I just finished watching the series. I love that he's the Avatar, but she keeps up with him. She's a waterbender and amazing in her own right. It's a plus that they were friends first too. He kind of developed the crush first, but it was very quiet almost. That was a second to the fact that they were friends. So that's it. Those are my favorite and least favorite couples that I could think of. What you can expect is to see Kirsty's face on Wednesday with her list and Sweeney's face on Friday. In the comments, go ahead and tell me if I included any of your favorites on this list or if you disagree with any on my list, unless you disagree that Christian and Anna are the worst because I don't really want to know about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and you will see my face again soon. Favorite